One of the Red Sox biggest problems right now could also be their biggest strength. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and let's be honest here. This offseason, there have been a whole host of problems surrounding the Boston Red Sox. I would say most, if not exclusively, stemming from the ownership side of this team. And we don't need to go into every single problem the Red Sox have in this video because we all know what they are. And for the most part, none of them are very positive. However, there is one problem the Red Sox are facing right now that might just be an extremely positive situation to be in. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about what problem I mean, why it's a good thing, and what this could mean for the future of the Boston Red Sox. But before we get into that, we are going to be live tonight on this channel, a little bit of a different time, 6:05 p.m. Eastern time, right here on Red Sea Radio. We're not only going to be previewing the 2024 season, talking about all the latest news, all the latest depth chart analysis and all that good stuff, but we're also going to be live watching a spring training game together. So if you want to head over here, watch a game, talk some Sox, it is going to be again on this channel tonight, 6:05 p.m. Eastern time. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button, helps these videos out a lot. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. The problem we are talking about today is that the Red Sox currently have an abundance of depth both in the minor league system and at the major league level when it comes to positional players. In fact, 11 out of 15 of the Red Sox top 15 prospects, according to SoxProspects.com, are positional players. Now, obviously, there are some caveats to this problem. The first one being not all minor league players end up becoming good big league players. The other one being they're not all scheduled to come up at the exact same time. But still, when you look at the positional depth on the Boston Red Sox and what they're projected to look like over the next coming years, it's really hard to figure out exactly what this team is going to look like in some areas. For example, let's take a look at the Red Sox middle infield. Right now, at the major league level, you've got Trevor Story at shortstop, who's under control until bare minimum 2025. If he opts in, it could be 2027. And then if the Red Sox opt in, it could even be till 2028. You've got Vaughn Grissom, who you just traded for at second base. He's under control until 2030. Then you've got sort of backup players like Hamilton and Valdez involved. And in the minor leagues, you've got Marcelo Meyer, who is a top 20 prospect in Major League Baseball, scheduled to make his debut in 2025. You've got Nick York, who's scheduled to make his debut sometime this year. Yoelin Cespedes in 2027. Nazan Zanatello in 2027 as well. And Chase Meadroth, who's projected to come up in 2025. And those are just the players in the top 15. You already have one of them who's a top 20 prospect in Major League Baseball. By the end of this season, I don't think it would really surprise anyone to see two more Red Sox middle infielders crack the top 100 in Yoelin Cespedes and Nazan Zanatello. That's a whole lot of talent and just flat out not a lot of room. And this can be said for other areas of the Red Sox as well. We're already sort of seeing a logjam take place in the Red Sox outfield because of this minor league depth, right? At the major league level right now, you've got Jarren Duran, who's not a free agent until 2029. Wilyer Abreu, who is scheduled to be with the big league club this season, who is under control until 2030, along with, say, Don Rafaela, and Masataka Yoshida, who's under contract until 2027. And then you look at the Red Sox farm system, and you've got the Red Sox number one prospect right now on SoxProspects.com, Roman Anthony, expected to come up in 25. Miguel Blaze, who we talked about yesterday, who could be, honestly, the highest ceiling prospect the Red Sox have, scheduled for 2026. Nazan, again, who also could be a center fielder at some point. He was drafted as both a shortstop and a center fielder, once again, 2027. And Alan Castro, the Red Sox number 15 prospect, due to come up in 2026. And again, this is just the Red Sox Sox top 15 prospects. We don't know by the end of the year if there will be even more talent injected into this Red Sox system when it comes to positional depth. There's a whole lot of players in this pool right now and just flat out not a whole lot of room. Now, there are some areas of the team where when you look at what the future could hold, it's sort of definitive. One of those being the catcher spot with Kyle Teel as your number 3 prospect. He has a pretty clear trajectory straight to Major League Baseball, right? There's not really anyone truly standing in his way, although I will say Connor Wong looks really great this spring. But even if Connor Wong does well this year, you still have a path for Kyle Teel to make Major League Baseball, as there's not too many people fighting for that second catcher spot in this Red Sox roster. Also, if you notice, none of the top 15 prospects the Red Sox have are technically corner infielders, which I guess makes a lot of sense. One, because shortstops and middle infielders can move towards these corner infield spots and probably play them pretty effectively, especially third base. But 2, because your top 2 players, the best 2 players on your team currently at the major league level, are your corner infielders. So I guess that works out pretty well. So there are areas of this team where you don't have a ton of upcoming depth, but everywhere else you are about to be real log jammed real quickly. The question is, what do the Red Sox do with this, and how is this going to affect the future of this team? I think for the Red Sox, there's 2 options on how to handle this situation. The first option is to just sit back, be patient, and let the cards fall where they fall. We've talked about it before, but minor leaguers are an extreme unknown. We have absolutely no idea what they're going to look like at the major league level. They could be better than we ever thought they were, or they could be a whole lot worse than we thought they ever could be. And we've seen both of those scenarios take place over basically the entirety baseball's been around, or at least the minor league system's been around coming into the major leagues. That's just how baseball works. And if some of these guys don't work out and others do, you end up with the guys you were supposed to end up with, and you still end up satisfied. However, there are some risks to this solution. The first one is that what happens if most of these guys do work out? What happens if you get to 28, 29, and all of a sudden you've got 3 stud shortstops that you don't know what to do with, or 4 stud outfielders and you just don't have any room for them in the outfield, right? That could end up leading to some issues. The other thing here is that if you do wait on these players and you just let the cards fall where they fall, you are diminishing the value of some of these guys, because again, some of them are going to flame out and you're going to lose all your value on the open market or leverage that you had in order to trade them away. And that's leading directly into what I think is the second solution to this problem for the Red Sox, which is the Red Sox sitting down and evaluating whether it be their top 15, their top 25, their top 50 prospects in this system, and figuring out which ones are worth gambling on, because ultimately that's what you're doing, right? You could do all of the statistical evidence you want in the world. You could have all the scouts you want in the world look at these guys. You're just not going to know what they look like until they actually start playing Major League Baseball. But if you're able to do this, if you're able to hone in on players that you are willing to gamble on and players that you are willing to see leave this organization, you create a really good situation for yourself that not only allows you to attempt to put the best team on the field possible, but also improve other problems in this organization, right? Mainly, I'm talking about starting pitching. If the Red Sox are able to, for example, take a look at their middle infield depth and say, okay, Vaughn Grissom, Marcelo Meyer, and Nazan Zanatello are the guys that we are going to gamble on to be the future of the Red Sox middle infield, which allows us to then utilize Nick York, Yoelin Cespedes, and Manuel Valdez, guys like that, and trade them in order to improve other areas of your team. Because clearly, I think the Red Sox's biggest problem right now, outside of a refusal to spend money like they should, is their starting pitching depth. If they're able to do this evaluation process and go and get a top-line starting pitcher via the trade, you're in a whole better spot without really giving up what you truly value as the core of this minor league system. And to be honest with you, this really isn't a new concept. This is actually something we've talked about quite a few times on this channel, especially when Craig Breslow first got into this position, right? Because in his opening press conference, it really sort of sounded like this was exactly what he was going to do. And we did see, I guess, glimpses of that over this season. We saw him bring in some minor league pitching depth in an area where he evaluated and figured figured out the Red Sox need, which, gonna be honest with you, really wasn't a tough evaluation. We saw him bring in guys like Vaughn Grissom, again, evaluating and figuring out an area of need, but we never really saw, or we haven't seen yet, that big trade. That sort of, okay, this is a top prospect, but we believe this other top prospect is a guy we're holding on to. Let's turn him into something that's going to impact the big league club. So we have not seen that yet, but in my opinion, I really think this is something that needs to happen. If you wait and sit on your hands basically and just sort of hope the cards fall where they fall, you're one, leaving a whole lot up to chance, but two, you're also losing out on a whole lot of value, which again could be used to solve other problems you currently have on your roster, right? This is a really good problem for the Red Sox to have. I think a lot of teams in Major League Baseball would love to have the positional farm system the Boston Red Sox have because of what you're able to do with it. The questions I have for this Red Sox team are, one, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to go and evaluate it? Or are you just going to sit there and let the cards fall where they fall? And two, can the Red Sox actually execute on improving this team via evaluation of this extreme depth you have right now? If they're able to do both of those, this could be a really, really great thing for the Red Sox in the future. And in terms of its effect, it all depends on how they go about it. Because if they let it sit, then yeah, the effect is going to be over the next few years, you're getting an entire injection of young, talented players. You just got to figure out where to put them. Then on the other hand, if you are able to evaluate and figure out which ones you want and which ones you don't want, the effect that that's going to have is it allows you to improve areas you need to improve. Say Rafi really needs to move to DH over the next couple of years. You could go out and trade for a third baseman. You could move a Marcelo Meyer, a Yoelin Cespedes, a Nazan Zanatello, Nick York, Vaughn Grissom over to that third base spot, right? You're able to utilize this depth to solve problems everywhere else on your team. And to me, that makes this a really good problem. But that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think? Do you think this is a good problem for the Red Sox to have? And what do you think they should do with this wealth of depth in the Red Sox system? Let me know all your thoughts on this topic in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, I mentioned it briefly, but we are less than 100 subs away from 10,000. Help us get there by hitting that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button as well. Just really helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Don't forget, live tonight, 6:05 p.m. Eastern Time, watch party, season preview, all the latest Red Sox news and rumors. There's a whole lot going on tonight. You don't want to miss it. 6:05 p.m. right here on Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.